up from last year. Shoot on my shot, boy, I'm long range. Me and the team on the same thing. Stayed down, never switched up. Only thing changed was the game. I'm in the zone now. Nothing can change what we on now. When I pull up, know it's going down. Foot on the gas, ain't no slowing down. Aiming for greatness, no settling. Kick down the doors, they won't let me in. Taking no L's, yeah, I gotta win. Watch me kick down the doors, they won't let me in. Who running the game now? Foot on the gas, can slow down. No, my team, we holding it down. We know we running it now. Watch the game change. Watch the game change. Watch the game change. Watch the game change, yeah. Tell them that's like, yeah, it's CLV. I'm taking a shot for my enemies. I can't waste no more time on my energy. I know they know I got it on lock. Go against me, that's a long shot. Cause I'm counting wins all around the clock. Never doubt me, boy, I don't stop. Who do you feel when they make you the monster? I am not scared of none of you imposters. Taking the lead now while they watching. Think you should leave now while the option. Taking no L's, yeah, I gotta win. Watch me kick down the doors, they won't let me in. I'm running the game now. Foot on the gas, can slow down, no.
Welcome to another edition of the It's Cavalier podcast. It's your boy Mac, and oh my God, this is the game that we have all been waiting for from Evan Mobley. I don't even know how to start the podcast off. 41 points, a career high for this young man who some people labeled Derek Favors. I hope you're eating crap now. I really, I hope Bontemps watched this game. I seriously hope that somebody was just blasting his phone up with clips of Evan Mobley dropping triple after triple after triple after triple after triple after triple. Six triples today from Evan Mobley, a career best from the big man. I already said a career high 41 points, also a career high 6 triples. Let me put that into context for you because I said this the last time out. I said this during the last stream. And honestly, during my stock up, stock down video, I said that Evan Mobley's perimeter confidence is rising. And you're seeing it, man. You are seeing this from this young man. He drilled 3 triples just the other day, 6 today. He now has 9 triples over the last 2 games, guys. 9 triples combined over the last 2 outings, if I am not mistaken. He is now 9 of 13. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say about that. 9 of 13 from three-point distance over his last 2 games. Strong rebounding performance from him, 16 of 23. They had no answer for Evan Mobley. They had absolutely no answer from this guy. Man, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. Evan Mobley is experiencing a metamorphosis before our very eyes. The confidence this young man has to take that shot. Oh my God. Entering today's game, in case you didn't watch the stock up, stock down video, through his first 22 appearances last year, Mobley took just 10 triples. He has taken 13 over his last 2 guys. That's insane efficiency. Well, not even efficiency, confidence. And yes, the efficiency is there too, but the confidence moreover. So now through 23 appearances, he has now attempted, if I am not mistaken, 54 triples. He has taken 54 triples in 23 appearances this season. What are we seeing from him? I mean, this felt like a statement performance, and I get it. People are going to look at this. They're going to look at the stats and say, oh, he had a 41 point, 10 rebound, double-double, but it came against a depleted Hornets team. But let me tell you something. I don't care who the competition is. It's about the confidence to take that shot. It's about the confidence to actually go out there when they give you the basketball to do something with it. It's about the confidence that is being instilled in him, and you are seeing it play out. This is a perfect game against the inferior opponent to dominate, right? To exercise your will over them. Oh my gosh. This is just such a phenomenal performance from the same. It wasn't a perfect game by any means. They made it way too close. Cleveland almost felt like they were trying to give the game away at points, but also there's some ref ball component to this. The ref single-handedly kept Charlotte in this game. It did not feel like that when you're talking about the free throw discrepancy, because Cleveland, believe it or not, actually took more free throws than Charlotte. But some of the calls, absolutely ridiculous. But the Mobley persistence from 3-point distance and really just antagonizing and attacking Charlotte inside, they had no answer for this guy. No answer. 13 triples attempted in his last 2 games. He's drilled 9 triples. This is the Mobley that I think we can expect moving forward. I don't think that 5 or 6 attempts per game from range is something that is going to be a consistent thing, but I certainly believe that 3 or 4 and him knocking down maybe 1.5 to 2 of those, I certainly believe that is a real possibility for Mobley. I don't think that it would do him justice to simply call him a floor stretching big now, because I believe that he is much, much more than that. I don't like to throw that label around guys who I believe have superstar potential, but he is certainly turning into a stretch big. That is exactly what the Cavaliers envisioned when they drafted him. A perimeter threat, really a guy who can do it all, right? On the defensive end, we know that he is a defensive player of the year caliber guy out there. Offensively, we know he entered raw, but he has worked and worked and worked on his game. And I seriously am seeing less and less flaws within it. Again, this is not the type of opponent that you can certainly point to and say, oh, yeah, this was a big time performance against a great opponent. But I'll tell you what, man, just watching him go to work, it was a breath of fresh air. It was a breath of fresh air. Again, this was not a perfect game by any means, but Evan Mobley was damn near perfect in this one. And I have nothing bad to say about the performance that he gave us today. 16 of 23 from the field, 6 of 8 from 3-point distance, 3 of 4 from the free throw line, 3 blocks, 1 steal, was a plus 19. What more do you want? What more could you ask for? I certainly did not have this on my bingo card. And I'm sitting here, I'm gushing over him, but you know what? This is an Evan Mobley centric podcast today, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. I am in awe about what we just saw. You know what? he just continues to do new things all the time that shocked me. And today I just did not see him going out there and dropping a career best 41 points and a career best 6 triples. Because I mean, we're talking about a player. We're talking about a big man who had only dropped 3 triples rather in 2 other games. He had only hit more than 3 triples in 2 other games. And he goes out and he doubles up on that by dropping 6. By far a career in terms of 3-point attempts with 8. But I'll tell you what, this is exactly the type of performance that Kobe Altman is going to look at and say to himself, this is why we kept Jared Allen, because one of these guys is going to develop into a stretch big. And that is exactly what Evan Mobley is turning into. It's making the belief in this front court pairing valid. It is making it seem as if you don't have to move on from one or the other at a certain point, because they can make it work. And Jared Allen is going to have his games where you're like, dude, what are you doing? You're not being assertive enough. You're not being aggressive enough. We just saw that last time out. There were certain parts today even where I'm going to think, dude, what are you doing? But the fit is clear. It works. The Cavaliers are making something work that many people thought was impossible, not only in their front court, but in their back court. Donovan Mitchell, pretty damn good game from him today, too. 18 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. Nearly had a triple-double himself. 6 of 12 from the field, 5 of 10 from 3-point distance. Phenomenal. And he wasn't even the story of the game, right? Anytime a player drops 18, 8, and 8 on 6 of 12 from the field, usually it should be a focus of the game, or at least a huge part of it. Mitchell himself had the highest plus minus on the team at plus 22. This is just end to end. From an individual standpoint, there were some really brilliant individual performances in this one. And man, I'm just excited about the future, the potential of this team. This is why I believe that they are a title contender this year. And I get people are going to hear that and want to say, you know what? They haven't gotten past Boston. They're still the New York of it all. Orlando's looming out there. But you guys tell me the team, other than Boston, that legitimately poses a threat to this Cavaliers team with the way that they're playing. And again, not perfect. There's some things to clean up out there. Dean Wade is as good as I thought that he could play on the defensive end at times. The shot is still not falling for him, just 2 of 6 from three-point distance today. And he entered today having a woeful time from outside the arc. He was shooting prior to this today's performance. He was shooting just 26.9% from three-point distance and 27.6% from the field over his last 7 games. The shot is still not falling for him, but he gives you enough out there on the defensive end and as a rebounder, and he really honestly can eat up minutes at either or any of the front court positions, whether it be the 3, the 4, the 5, because Isaac Okoro did not play today. He did not start. So Dean Wade, you can insert him into that starting lineup when you need to, the same way that they did to begin the season. But that just goes to show you that there are certain things on this team that they can clean up. And we haven't even gotten Max Strus back yet. Max Strus is not back yet. And look what we're doing to teams. The thing that I am most interested in to see once he does come back is, okay, what are the touches going to look like? Is Max Strus strictly going to be an off-ball guy? Is he just going to get off-ball touches, off-ball looks, right? I guess that's not really touches. That's just shot attempts at that point. Is he just going to become strictly an off-ball shooter, or are they going to put the ball in his hands and allow him to facilitate a little bit? Are they going to allow him to, run some of the DHO actions that he was so good at last year with Evan Mobley and Jared Allen? What is that going to look like? I don't know. But I am happy as hell to be seeing the way that they're playing, especially Evan Mobley. I cannot get over that. 41 points, 6 of 8 from three-point distance. I cannot get over how confident that he looked. And we've seen that now in back-to-back games. He can do it. Give him the ball. This should be an eye-opener to everybody across the league that Evan Mobley is capable of much, much more when you feed him the ball. He wanted it today. There were literally portions of the game where Mobley called for the ball, or he antagonized, drove inside, attacked because they simply had no response for him. That is what you want to see. That is what you want to see out of Evan Mobley. And frankly, that's what it should be. All those people that were saying Evan Mobley, in order for this team to be a title contender, in order for them to reach their apex, this is what they were talking about, right? While I don't necessarily think this is the version you're going to get every single game, knowing that you have that there when it's available, you can go to it. You can defer if you're Darius Garland or Donovan Mitchell. If Evan Mobley has it going, knowing that you can defer to this young man, that's got to be a huge boost of confidence, and knowing that those guys believe in you and they trust in you the way that they do. Darius Garland, 18 points, 2 rebounds, 5 assists, 7 of 16 from the field, just 1 of 7 from three-point distance. But you know what? I'm not mad at that at all, because we got 11 triples from Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley combined. Seriously, 11 triples from just those two. 13 when you're factoring in Wade, 14 from the starting lineup in general. 14 triples. That's floor spacing on another level. The Cavaliers as a team would shoot just 37% from three-point distance, but they clamped on the opposite end, 28% from three-point distance for the Charlotte Hornets. Again, you have to take it with a grain of salt, not assault. You have to, I guess it was kind of an assault today from Evan Mobley, right? I'm in awe about what we saw. I'm sorry. And I'm not in my typical destination, my typical location where I record at. I'm not at home right now, but I had to bring my stuff and pod over here after I saw that one, because this was just such a phenomenal performance from Evan Mobley. He is turning into a stretch big right before our very eyes. Mobley, it's not as if he entered today shooting extremely efficiently. That has not been the case for Evan Mobley. But man, today is certainly going to help those percentages. Seriously. I mean, you just look at what he was able to do today. He is now shooting 40.7% from three-point distance on the season after today. He's a 40% shooter, guys. And it's real volume. It's real volume. You can take it. It's tangible. You can look at that and say, this is something that can be replicated. If you're telling me out there that Mobley cannot be at the worst, at the very least, a 36-37% guy on 3 to 4 attempts, you're out of your mind. If you're telling me that he cannot do that after witnessing what he has been able to do, yeah, you're out of your mind. He is very, very capable. Oh, man. That was good. That was big time. And again, as Call says down here, so out of 12 triples, half of them were Mobley. Yes. So you got Mobley with 6. You got Donovan with 5. You got Garland with 1. And you got Dean with 2. So if my math is correct, and I'm not the best at math, I got to admit, 14 triples out of the starting lineup. And nearly 50% of those came from Evan Mobley. That is phenomenal. If Mobley does this on a night-to-night basis, or if he's even dropping like 2 or 3 a game, defenses beware. Yeah, Cavs just put a lot of teams on. They just put a lot of people on notice, honestly. Tim Bontemps is right up there at the top, calling this dude Derek Favors. Oh, I cannot wait till he sees this. I cannot wait. Not this pod. I'm sure he don't really care, but the performance. This was phenomenal from him. And I know I keep using that word, but truly it was. As It's Your Boy says down here, will Mobley be an all-star this year? You tell me. After today's game, you tell me. I mean, he was already having a phenomenal season prior to today, but he is now up to 18.9 points, 9.3 rebounds, 2.8 assists, 1.1 steals, 1.6 blocks, 55.9% from the field, 40.7% from the three-point distance, 79.6% from the free throw line, and has a true shooting percentage of 63.4%. Oh, in 31 and a half minutes. You tell me. Yes, he is an all-star. You got to get him in. People, go out there and get to voting, right? Vote when it becomes available. Get us at least 3 all-stars. Get us at least 3. Oh, snap. I just saw that come across my phone. Shams, I'm sorry to break character here. Magic took another devastating hit. I can't not mention that. They are now without Mo and Paolo. Oh, torn oblique. Man, that sucks. Objectively speaking, I like the Orlando Magic. They had been taking off without Paolo. So that's a big time loss for them. Oh, you hate to see that happen because Cavs, when they play these teams, I want to see them play them at full strength. So now to me, it's New York, it's Boston. It's New York and it's Boston. That's it. Really, in the East, if you want to really use the NBA as a whole, because Cavaliers are on top of everybody. 21-3 after today. Number one record in the NBA by far, but it's really Cleveland. Let me get my hand in here. Can I do it? Cleveland, Boston, Gap, everybody else. That sucks. Sucks to hear that for Orlando. But you know what? This is a Cavaliers podcast. I will never rejoice in the injury to a player on another team. But it does help, I suppose. If you're the Cavaliers, it does help. We'll see how they rebound from this. They managed to win a high amount of games, right? 16-9. As we speak, that is the 7th best record, at least according to Bleacher Report. That is the 7th best record in the NBA, and they are the 3rd seeded team in the Eastern Conference at 16-9. Sucks to see that for them, but I'm happy that the Cavaliers' road may be a little bit easier. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how that affects them moving forward. But man, Evan Mobley, the the man, crazy. Franz Wagner. Did I say Mo? It's Franz, but it's sucks to see that happen to another team. But yeah, they'll figure something out. We'll see what ends up happening with the Magic. But man, I don't want to take too much away from the phenomenal performance that we saw today from the Cavaliers, and namely Evan Mobley. 6 triples. It's just it's crazy, right? It's insane. And the fact that he has now drilled 9 in his last 2 games, that has me very, very confident. The fact, moreover, probably more importantly than that, the sheer fact that he has attempted 13 over his last 2, that should tell you where he is at from a confidence standpoint. Because even if you go back further than that, right? He had 8 attempts today, 5 attempts against Denver, 2 against Washington, 2 against Boston, 3 against Atlanta the second time, and 3 against them the first time. So, I mean, he's taken at least two, right? At least 2 per game. That's where we're at. He entered today at 2.1 per game, but man, oh man. HJ17 Gaming says, isn't this Mobley's highest 3-point made in his career? Yeah, his previous career high was 3, right? His previous career high in attempts, I think, was 6, but his previous career high entering today was just 3. He had hit 3 triples in a couple games. I think just 2 other times that Evan Mobley had managed to do that. And it's speaking for itself, right? It is speaking for itself. Yeah. So he had the game against Denver the other day where he drilled 3, and he had a game against the San Antonio Spurs back in February of this year where he dropped 3 as well. You guys probably remember that one. He dropped 28 points on 11 of 15 from the field in a game against the Spurs that Cleveland won. Just crazy production from this man. And again, to anybody that did not watch this game, to the outside observer, to non-Cavalier fans, they're going to look at the stat sheet. They're going to look at the players that started for Charlotte, because we're talking about a team that they didn't play many of their true rotation players today. They still have some NBA talent out there. Brandon Miller, very, very fun to watch. 25 points from him on 7 of 21 from the field, including 3 of 13 from 3-point distance. Without LaMelo out there, it's Brandon Miller or bust. And then Taj Gibson. When you're talking about Taj Gibson starting, you're probably not going to have a great day. And Taj, from a veteran leadership standpoint, from a locker room standpoint, it's a great addition to have on your team. He's been around the NBA for a long time now. But this is what we're talking about. But it's not as if they didn't do some things themselves today. Josh Green, if you don't recall that name, you should definitely look him up. 16 points, 3 assists, shot 3 of 7 from 3-point distance, 6 of 13 from 3-point range. Martin, right? 4, 9, and 4, 2 of 9 from the field. Not the best performance from him. Micic has been a very, very underrated performer this year. You look at the record, and it's not going to speak highly about from what they've done from an individual standpoint, but they have some guys there that have done some very, very good things. Micic with 13, 5, and 7 on 5 of 10 from the field. Somebody go rescue that guy. Put him on a team that can do some big time things, and I guarantee you that they're going to he would be able to wow you. DeQuan Jeffries, kind of an afterthought on that New York team that was moved in one of the recent deals, right? 17 points and 6 rebounds off the bench for them in 25 big minutes, with 7-11 from the field, including 3 of 5 from 3-point range. That's a big game from him. He actually had some phenomenal possessions in today's performance. So got to give it to them. They tried to stay in it. They got it down to just a 4-point game late in the fourth quarter, but Cleveland, they ended it. They closed it out with a Don Dagger and Evan Mobley triple to close things out. So the Cavaliers beat a team that they were supposed to. That's great. But the story of the day is just Evan Mobley. And that's probably all there is to it. Not much else to take away from this game. Hopefully he can continue this confident shooting that he has showcased in these last couple of games. And oh man, Man. Mona Moreland says, I think it's Mobley's first over 30 game. Nah, this is his second. Remember, his career high prior to today was 38. Today marks a new career best from him with 41. Mobley, if I am not mistaken, has managed to break the 30-point barrier, including today now 5 times. Had a 30-point performance against the Los Angeles Clippers back during the 2022-2023 season. 2021-2022 season. Had a 31-point performance against Denver last season. Had a 33-point performance against Indiana last year, and he had the 38 career high prior to today against the Milwaukee Bucks last year as well. But today, with 41 points, that is his career high. That is his career high. Dr. Claw 77 says, 2 players out with a torn oblique blows, especially given how they were cooking without Paolo. Man, Claw, you've probably heard me say it numerous times now. I'm a fan of the Orlando Magic. They earned my respect last year in that series, and they earned even more so with the way that they were able to keep the ship afloat, especially Franz. Franz has been having a great season without Paolo out there. It's basically their de facto number 1 option. But that sucks. It really does. Just for the game of basketball. The Land on Playback says Spida gets a terrible whistle too while we're at it. Yeah, we can complain about the whistling in this one. I thought there was an element of ref ball in it that kept Charlotte in it. And the free throw numbers are not necessarily going to suggest that, as they attempted less free throws than Cleveland. But the calls, to me, those were the deciding factor. There were definitely some calls that Charlotte got that they should not have gotten. Matt Corwin says, this gives me some confidence going into playoff games where it's not going to be Donovan or bust games. And that's what we all wanted, right? That's why the people out there that were saying, in order for Cleveland to experience true title contention, to be at their most successful, Evan Mobley has to be their best player or close to it. Today, Evan Mobley was that guy. Today, Evan Mobley showed true superstar potential, and I don't think that can be argued. Seriously. Donovan Mitchell remains from game to game their best overall player, but Evan Mobley has the most pure potential of anybody on this roster. He legitimately has top 10, maybe even top 5 NBA talent potential, right? He has top 5, top 10 potential. He can be that good because of his two-way ability. If he can just develop a consistent three-pointer, and I think that's what we're seeing now, it's game over. It's game over for everybody else. Dr. Claw says, I consider the Magic more of a real threat to this run than the Knicks this season. I do too. I consider it's Boston prior to today, prior to the injury. Boston, Orlando were both above in my danger rankings, right? The teams that can actually pose a real threat. Orlando, and I said this the last stream, people were clowning me. Orlando posed more of a threat to me in a 7-game series than a New York could, in my opinion. Because I think that the Cavaliers are uniquely built and suited with the bigs now to antagonize a team like New York on the inside. HJ 17 Games says, I'm so thankful the Cavs hired Kenny this summer, has done amazing work on elevating Mobley's confidence. And we're seeing that not even just from Mobley. It's why guys like Isaac Okoro, and Dean Wade, despite shooting percentages from Dean Wade, it's why we've seen them look extremely confident. It's because he has ability to speak to these guys on a personal level and just speak pure basketball and just build up that confidence. It's made a world of a difference for all of these guys. But that's probably a good place to leave it at. That is probably a good place to leave it at. One last comment. Dr. Claus says, I think that so many teams are in your number one guy or bust is why some people underrate the Cavs. Now that the Cavs are in an offense that doesn't need that from Donovan, they are dangerous. That might be the single most telling comment of this entire stream, right? The Cavaliers no longer are a team that depend on Donovan when the game is on the line, or really just in general to generate offense. You have Garland, who was experiencing an all-star caliber year in his own right. Hopefully he gets voted in. And you now have Mobley, who was blossoming before our very eyes offensively. It doesn't have to be Donovan go out and get us a bucket. We don't have to do that anymore like we had to over the past 2 seasons in specific games. Again, this is coming in a game where Donovan was no slouch himself. 18 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. almost had a triple-double on a very efficient 6 of 12 from the field. Usually that's the story of a game for many teams, but Mobley was even better. As I always tell you guys, if you'd like to reach out, you know how you can at @ItsCavalier_pod on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and more. If you want to be added to the It's Cavalier Discord chat, you know what to do. Leave a rating, leave a review, send a screenshot of that review to itscavalier53@gmail.com, and I will send you an invite. If you're watching over on X, do me a favor, head over to YouTube and click that like button. If you're not yet subscribed to the It's Cavalier podcast for all Cavs content. Hit that notification bell so you never miss out on one of these post-game streams. That said, go Cavs.